The huge council chamber stretched out like a metal ocean. Thousands of alien seats rose up in circles, each one filled with creatures that looked nothing like humans. Some had scales that shimmered under the bright lights. Others had tentacles that moved like snakes. A few looked like walking trees with eyes that glowed blue. Ambassador Hyun-woo sat very still at the small human table. His hands were folded on the cold metal surface. Behind him stood 3 other humans. They all wore simple blue uniforms that looked plain next to the fancy robes and armor of the aliens around them. Hyun-woo had gray hair and tired eyes. He had been coming to these meetings for 10 years. Every time he asked for the same thing. Every time the aliens said no. High above them all, the speaker's platform glowed with bright white light. The speaker was a tall creature with 4 arms and skin like purple leather. When it talked, its voice came from speakers all around the chamber. The human proposal for defensive fleet expansion will now be voted on, the speaker announced. Its voice echoed off the metal walls. Hyun-woo stood up slowly. His legs felt heavy. He walked to the center of the chamber where a small circle of light waited for him. All the alien eyes turned to look at him. Some of those eyes were hungry. Others were bored, most were cold. "Honored Council," Hyun-woo began. His voice was quiet but clear. "Human colonies in the outer systems are under attack. Pirate ships come in the night. They steal our food, our medicine, our children. We have lost 12 settlements in the past year." A sound like angry buzzing came from the insectoid section. One of the bug-like creatures stood up. It had 6 legs and wings that buzzed when it moved. "Humans always want to fight," the insectoid said. Its voice sounded like metal scraping metal. "You think violence solves everything. This is why you are a junior species." Other aliens made sounds of agreement. Some clicked their tongues. Others tapped their claws on their seats. Hyun-woo kept his face calm. "We do not want to fight. We want to protect our families, our children, our future." From the Altarian section, a creature that looked like a blue elephant with golden tusks stood up. This was Counselor Vexitar. He was old and powerful. When he spoke, other aliens listened. "Protection?" Vexitar's voice was deep and mocking. "You call building warships protection? We know what humans do with weapons. We have seen your history, wars that lasted for centuries, weapons that could destroy worlds." "That was long ago," Hyun-woo said. "We have changed." "Have you?" Another alien stood up. This one looked like a giant crystal with lights inside it. "Your people still fight each other. We see the reports. Humans argue about everything. You cannot even agree on what food to eat." Laughter echoed through the chamber. It sounded like breaking glass and grinding gears. Hyun-woo felt heat rise in his chest. But he kept his voice steady. "We ask only for the right to defend ourselves, to build ships that can protect our colonies from pirates." "Pirates that you probably created," Vexitar said. "Human criminals who left your space to steal from honest species." "That is not true," Hyun-woo said. "The pirates are Korthak raiders. They have been attacking trade routes for 50 years. "Then let the proper authorities handle them," the speaker said. "The Council has patrol fleets. We will protect you when we can." When you can. Hyunwoo's voice got a little louder. Your patrol fleets take 3 weeks to respond to our calls for help. By then, entire colonies are gone. Perhaps, said a snake-like creature with silver scales, humans should not build colonies so far from civilization. Stay close to council space, where we can watch over you. More laughter filled the chamber. Hyunwoo saw that some aliens were not even paying attention. They were reading data tablets or talking to each other in quiet voices. We have been members of this council for 50 years, Hyunwoo said. We have followed every rule. We have shared our technology. We have helped solve problems that no one else could fix. We ask for nothing but the basic right to defend our people. And we have given you much in return, Vextar said. Protection, guidance, knowledge. We have lifted you from your primitive world and shown you the galaxy. Is this not enough? Our children are dying, Hyunwoo said. His voice was getting harder to control. Our people are being taken as slaves. We need to protect them. You need to trust us, the speaker said. The council has kept peace in the galaxy for 3,000 years. We know what is best. Best? For who? The words came out before Hyunwoo could stop them. The chamber went quiet. Even the aliens who were not paying attention looked up. The speaker's 4 arms moved in a pattern that meant anger. You forget your place, human. Hyunwoo looked around the chamber. He saw thousands of alien faces. Some were angry. Some were amused. None of them cared about human children dying on distant worlds. I know exactly what my place is, Hyunwoo said. The question is whether humanity still wants to be in it. Are you threatening the council? Vexatar asked. His golden tusks gleamed under the lights. I am stating a fact, Hyunwoo said. You have made it clear that humans will never be equals here. We will always be the junior species, the children who need watching. Because that is what you are, the crystal creature said. Young, violent, unpredictable. Then let us vote, the speaker said. All in favor of allowing humans to build defensive warships? One light appeared on the voting board, a single green dot in a sea of red. The human vote. The motion fails, the speaker announced. 847 votes against. 1 vote in favor. Hyunwoo nodded slowly. He had expected this, but it still hurt to see it. 50 years of cooperation, 50 years of following their rules. And this was what it got them. He walked back to the human table. His 3 companions looked at him with sad eyes. They all knew what came next. Ambassador Hyunwoo, the speaker called. Do you accept the council's decision? Hyunwoo stopped walking. He turned around and looked up at the speaker's platform. Then he looked around the chamber at all the alien faces. Humanity withdraws from these proceedings, he said. His voice carried clearly through the silent chamber. The speaker's arms moved in confusion. What does that mean? It means, Hyunwoo said, that we are done asking for permission to survive. He turned and walked toward the exit. The other humans followed him. Behind them, the chamber erupted in noise. Aliens were clicking and buzzing and roaring questions, but the humans did not look back. They had made their choice. Now they would see what humanity could do when it stopped playing by other people's rules. The big doors closed behind them with a sound like thunder. In the distance, alarms began to ring. Captain Jin-Ho watched the last group of humans climb into the transport ship. They carried small bags with their personal things. Everything else stayed behind. The aliens could keep their fancy apartments and expensive furniture. The humans just wanted to go home. "That's everyone from level 7, said Engineer Yejin. She wiped grease from her hands with a dirty cloth. "The water recycling system is going to break down in about 6 days. Maybe 5 if they keep using it the same way." Jin-Ho nodded. He looked out at Proxima Station through the big window. The station was huge, like a metal city floating in space. Millions of aliens lived and worked there. But now for the first time in 50 years, no humans would be among them. "How many more stations?" he asked. "This is the last one," Yejin said. "We got everyone out of the outer rim yesterday. The core worlds finished 3 days ago." Jin-Ho pressed a button on his wrist computer. "Control. This is Captain Jin-Ho. Soul's Pride is ready to depart. We have the last group." A woman's voice came through the speaker. "Copy that, Captain. You are cleared for immediate departure. Welcome home." The transport ship moved slowly away from the station. Through the windows, Jin-Ho could see aliens watching them leave. Some looked confused, others looked angry, a few looked worried. They had good reason to be worried. On Earth, Director So-min sat in her office in Seoul. The room was full of screens showing numbers and charts. Ships arriving, people coming home, resources being moved. It was the biggest operation in human history. Her assistant, a young man named Woo Jin, brought her a cup of coffee. "The last transport just left Proxima Station," he said. "Captain, Jin-Ho reports all humans are accounted for." So-min nodded. She was tired. She had not slept much in the past 6 months. Moving 1,000,000 humans from across the galaxy was not easy work. "What about the technical manuals?" she asked. "Dr. Subin says they got everything," Woo Jin said. "All the repair guides, system blueprints, maintenance schedules. The aliens will have to figure it out themselves now." So-min smiled for the first time in days. "Good. How are the shipyards?" "Admiral Dong-hyun says they will be ready to start. Production next week. The old council restrictions are gone. We can build whatever we want now." On Kepler Station, Chief Engineer Ye Jin walked through the power plant one last time. She had spent 3 years keeping this place running. The alien engineers said it was impossible. The power systems were too old. The connections were too complicated. But Ye Jin had made it work. She stopped at the main control panel. Red lights blinked warnings all over the board. The fusion reactor was running too hot. The cooling system was not working right. The backup generators were failing. Any alien engineer would look at this and panic. But Ye Jin knew exactly what to do. She always knew what to do. That was why the aliens needed humans so much. She pulled out a small device and connected it to the control panel. The device beeped softly as it copied all the data. Then she put the device in her pocket and walked away. Behind her, the power plant kept running. But without her constant attention, It would not run for long. At the spaceport, Yejin met Captain Jinho and the other humans. They were all quiet. Leaving felt strange. This place had been their home for years. "Are you sad?" asked Dr. Minho, a scientist who had worked on the station for 8 years. "No," Yejin said. "I am excited. Do you know how long it has been since I could build something without asking permission first?" Dr. Minho smiled. "What will you build?" "Something amazing," Yejin said. "Something the Council never imagined we could make." Back on Earth, Admiral Dong Hyun stood in Shipyard 7. The huge space was full of workers and machines. They were taking apart old transport ships and building new ones. But these new ships would not carry cargo or passengers. "How long?" asked So Min. She had come to see the progress herself. 6 months for the first ship, Dong Hyun said. 1 year for a full squadron. 2 years for a proper fleet. What about weapons? Dr. Subin has some interesting ideas, Dong Hyun said. The Council banned us from researching military technology, but they never banned us from thinking about it. Dr. Subin heard her name and walked over. She was a small woman with bright eyes and quick hands. Before the Council restrictions, she had been working on plasma weapons. For 50 years, she had only been allowed to study peaceful energy systems. "Show her," Dong Hyun said. Dr. Subin pulled out a tablet computer. The screen showed a weapon design unlike anything the Council had ever seen. "Plasma phase technology," she said. "It can go through any known shielding system." "How is that possible?" So-min asked. "Because we think differently than they do," Dr. Subin said. "They see problems and try to make them smaller. We see problems and find ways around them. On the alien stations, things were starting to go wrong. On Hub 7, Station Master Quill Knox stared at his control screens. 3 ships had almost crashed that morning. The traffic control system was failing. "Where are the human technicians?" he asked his assistant. "Gone, sir. They all left yesterday." "All of them? Who is going to fix the navigation computers?" I don't know, sir." Quill Knox felt cold fear in his stomach. The humans had made everything work so smoothly. He had never realized how much they did until they were gone. On Altair Prime, Counselor Vextar received reports from across Council space, power failures, communication breakdowns, system crashes. Everywhere humans had worked, things were breaking down. "How bad is it?" he asked his aide. 17 major stations are reporting critical failures, the aide said. "Trade is slowing down. Some colonies are asking for emergency supplies." "Can we fix it?" "We are trying, sir. But the humans seem to have taken their knowledge with them." Vextar walked to his window and looked out at the city below. For 3,000 years, the Council had kept order in the galaxy. They had never needed help from anyone. But now, for the first time, he wondered if they had made a mistake. In human space, something new was beginning. Ships were being built. Weapons were being designed. Plans were being made. The Council had wanted humanity to stay weak and dependent. Instead, they had created something much more dangerous. A free humanity with 50 years of anger and nowhere to go but up. The alarm bells on Rigel Colony had been ringing for 3 hours. Governor Thixon pressed his 6 hands against his head, trying to think. Outside his window, he could see smoke rising from the spaceport. The pirates had landed 2 days ago, and his security forces could not stop them. "Where are the patrol ships?" he asked his communication officer. "Still 6 hours away, sir," the officer said. His voice shook with fear. The response time used to be 20 minutes when the humans ran the early warning system. Governor Thixon felt sick. The early warning satellites had been designed by human engineers 5 years ago. They could spot pirate ships from 3 star systems away. But when the humans left, they took all the technical manuals with them. Now half the satellites were broken, and nobody knew how to fix them. "Send another distress call," he ordered. "Sir, we have sent 12 calls already. The Council knows we are under attack." "Then why is nobody coming?" The communication officer looked down at his screen. "The message routing system is having problems. It takes 6 hours for messages to reach Council Command now. Before the humans left, messages traveled across the galaxy in minutes. Human communications specialists had designed a network that worked perfectly. Now that network was falling apart, and nobody understood how to maintain it. On the planet's surface, the pirates were loading stolen food and medicine into their ships. They laughed as they worked. Rigel Colony had been an easy target. No defenses, no quick response. Just scared aliens hiding in their homes. 3 star systems away, Counselor Vexitar received the news about Rigel Colony. It was the 4th Council world to fall to pirates in the past month. Each attack was the same. The pirates struck fast, took what they wanted, and left before help could arrive. "This is getting worse," Vexitar told his assistant. "Trade convoys are afraid to travel. Some colonies are asking for permanent protection." "We could send more patrol ships," the assistant suggested. "With what crews?" Vexitar asked. "Half our ships are in repair yards. The maintenance schedules are completely broken." Before the humans left, ship maintenance had run like clockwork. Human technicians had created systems that could predict when parts would break before they actually failed. Ships were always ready when needed. Now, Council fleets spent more time in repair yards than in space. On Hub 7, Station Master Quill Knox faced his worst day yet. 3 cargo ships had collided in the main traffic lane. Nobody was killed, but both ships were badly damaged. The space around the station was full of floating debris. "How did this happen?" he asked his traffic controller. "The navigation computer gave both ships the same flight path," the controller said. "I tried to fix it, but the system is too complicated." Quill Knox looked at the control room. It was full of screens and buttons and displays that blinked with colored lights. The humans had made it look easy. They would sit at these controls and guide hundreds of ships safely through the station area every day. Now, with only alien staff, they could barely handle 50 ships without accidents. "Sir," another controller called out, "we have 17 ships waiting for permission to dock. The scheduling computer crashed again. Can you restart it?" "I tried. It wants a password that only the human technicians knew." Quill Knox closed his eyes. His station used to be the busiest trade hub in the sector. Ships came from across the galaxy to buy and sell goods. But now, word was spreading that Hub 7 was dangerous. Traders were finding other routes. In the Altarian capital, Councillor Vexitar met with other senior council members. The meeting room was full of worried aliens. Reports came in from across council space, systems failing, trade routes disrupted, colonies under attack. "The economic impact is getting serious," said Councillor Mordain, who looked like a walking tree with silver bark. "Shipping costs have doubled. Some goods are not moving at all." "What about the outer colonies?" asked another councillor. 15 have requested emergency food shipments, Mordain said. "They cannot get supplies through normal trade routes anymore." "This is temporary," Vextar said, but his voice did not sound confident. "We managed the galaxy for thousands of years before the humans came. We can do it again." "Can we?" asked Councillor Zephyr, whose crystal body flashed with angry red lights. "Look at these reports. Everything the humans touched is falling apart." Vexitar had been reading the same reports. Power grids failing, communication networks breaking down, transportation systems crashing. It was as if the humans had been holding the entire galaxy together, and nobody had noticed until they left. "Perhaps," Mordain said quietly, "we underestimated their contribution." "They were just following our orders," Vextar said, "doing jobs we assigned to them." "Yes, but they were doing those jobs better than anyone expected," Zephyr said. "The efficiency reports show productivity dropping by 40% across all human-managed systems." In the intelligence section of Council Command, Director Silvok studied the most disturbing reports of all. These came from spy satellites at the edge of human space. The images were blurry and hard to understand, but they showed something that made Silvok very nervous. Construction. Massive construction projects in human star systems. Shipyards that were 10 times bigger than anything humans had built before. Energy readings that did not match any known human technology, and all of it hidden behind sensor-blocking fields that even Council spy satellites could not penetrate. "What are they building?" asked his assistant. "I don't know," Silvok said, "but it's big, and it's completely outside Council regulations." "Should we be worried?" Silvok looked at the energy readings again. They were getting stronger every day. Whatever the humans were doing, they were doing it fast. "Send a message to the Council," he said. "Tell them we need to discuss the human situation immediately." But the communication system was having problems again. The message would take 6 hours to reach the Council chambers. By the time they read it, who knew what else might go wrong? Across the galaxy, the cracks were spreading. Systems that had worked perfectly for decades were failing. Trade routes that had been safe for centuries were now dangerous. And somewhere in human space, behind walls of secrecy, something new was being born. The Council had wanted to keep humanity weak and controlled. Instead, they had pushed humanity away just when they needed human help the most. Soon, they would learn what humanity could do when nobody was watching. Captain Korthak of the pirate ship. Bloodfang smiled as his fleet dropped out of hyperspace near Earth's moon. His crew had been planning this raid for months. Human space was supposed to be defenseless now. No warships, no military stations. Just soft colonies full of valuable goods and people to sell as slaves. 37 ships in the fleet, his weapons officer reported, all armed with council-grade plasma cannons and deflector shields. Perfect, Korthak said. The humans will surrender before we even fire a shot. His fleet had destroyed council patrol ships many times. Human colonies would be even easier. The stupid humans had given up their only protection when they left the council. Now they were alone and helpless. Sir, his sensor officer called out. I'm reading some ships near the third planet. How many? 15. No, 20. Sir, the readings are strange. These ships don't match any design in our database. Korthak looked at his main screen. The human ships looked wrong somehow. They were smaller than expected, but moved in perfect formation. Their hulls seemed to shimmer like they were not completely solid. Open a communication channel, Korthak ordered. Let me talk to whoever is in charge. The screen flickered, and a human face appeared. It was a woman with short black hair and calm eyes. She wore a uniform that Korthak had never seen before. This is Fleet Admiral Tae-hyun of the Human Defense. Force, she said. You are entering Earth space without permission. Turn around and leave immediately. Korthak laughed so hard his crew could hear him throughout the ship. Admiral, you humans don't have admirals. You don't even have a real Navy. We do now, Tae-hyun said. I have 37 warships, Korthak said. You have 20 small patrol boats. Surrender now, and I might let some of your people live. Counter offer, Admiral Tae-hyun said. Leave now, and I might let some of your people live. Korthak cut the communication. Prepare all weapons. Target their flagship first. But when he looked at his targeting screen, something was wrong. The human ships were not where they had been a few seconds ago. They had moved without his sensors detecting any engine activity. Where did they go? He shouted. I don't know, sir, his sensor officer said. They were right there, and then alarms started ringing throughout Korthak's ship. His weapons officer was staring at his screen with wide eyes. Sir, they're behind us? All of them? How did they get behind us? On the human flagship Sol Ascendant, Captain Min Seo watched the pirate fleet through her tactical display. The enemy ships were turning around, trying to face the human fleet that had somehow appeared behind them. Phase jump technology working perfectly, her navigation officer reported. We moved 3,000 kilometers in 0.2 seconds. Target acquired, her weapons officer said. All ships report ready to fire. Captain Min Seo opened a channel to Admiral Tae-hyun. Admiral, we have target lock on all enemy vessels. Remember the rules of engagement, Admiral Tae-hyun said. Any ship that fires on us is considered hostile. Any ship that tries to run is allowed to leave. Understood. Admiral, on the Bloodfang, Korthak was screaming orders at his crew. Fire everything! Kill them all! His ship's plasma cannons opened fire. Bright green beams of energy shot toward the human ships. Korthak smiled as he watched the weapons hit their targets. But his smile disappeared when he saw that the human ships were still there. The plasma beams had passed right through them like they were made of smoke. What happened? He demanded. Direct hits on all targets, his weapons officer said. But the energy readings show no damage. That's impossible. On the Sol Ascendant, Captain Minseo watched the pirate weapons pass harmlessly through her ship's hull. Phase shielding holding steady, her defense officer reported. Enemy weapons cannot affect us while we're in phase shift mode. Good, Minseo said. Now let's show them what our weapons can do. All ships, switch to attack phase and fire at will. The human ships suddenly became solid again. Their hulls stopped shimmering and took on a dark, metallic appearance. But now their weapons were charging with energy that made space itself seem to bend. Captain Minseo watched as her ship's plasma phase cannons locked onto the nearest pirate ship. These weapons had been Dr. Subin's masterpiece. They could ignore any type of shielding and burn through any known armor. "Fire!" she ordered. A beam of blue-white energy shot from her ship toward the Blood Fang. The beam passed through the pirate ship's shields like they were not there. It hit the hull and burned a hole straight through the ship from front to back. The Blood Fang exploded in a ball of fire and metal. Around the battlefield, other human ships were firing their new weapons. One by one, the pirate ships were being destroyed. Their shields could not stop the human weapons. Their armor could not protect them. "Retreat! Retreat!" Korthak's second-in-command screamed over the communication channel. He was now in charge of the surviving pirate ships. But retreat was not easy. The human ships could move instantly from one place to another. Every time the pirates tried to run, human ships appeared in front of them. In 18 minutes, it was over. 36 pirate ships were destroyed. Only one small scout ship escaped, and the humans let it go on purpose. Someone needed to spread the word about what had happened. Admiral Tae-hyun stood on the bridge of her flagship and looked at the debris field where the pirate fleet used to be. Her ships had not taken a single hit. Not one human had been injured. "Send a message to Earth Command," she told her communication officer. "Tell them the solar system is secure." "Yes, Admiral. Should we pursue the remaining pirate ship?" "No," Admiral Tae-hyun said. "Let it run. I want everyone in the galaxy to know what happens when you attack human space." The surviving pirate ship jumped to hyperspace and raced toward Council territory. Its crew was terrified and confused. How had the humans built such powerful ships? Where had this technology come from? But the most frightening question was, what else were the humans hiding? Within hours, word spread across the galaxy. The human fleet was not just real. It was more advanced than anything the Council had ever seen. Ships that could appear and disappear. Weapons that ignored all defenses. Tactics that seemed to predict every move. The humans were no longer the weak junior species that needed protection. They had become something much more dangerous, something the galaxy had never seen before. And they were just getting started. The emergency session of the Galactic Council had been going on for 6 hours. Counselor Vextar looked tired as he read the latest reports. 3 more Council worlds had been attacked by pirates in the past week. The attacks were getting bolder and more destructive. "The situation is getting worse," he told the assembled aliens. "The pirates know we cannot respond fast enough to stop them." From across the chamber, Counselor Mordain raised one of his branch-like arms. "What about asking the humans for help?" The chamber fell silent. Many aliens looked uncomfortable, asking. Humans for help meant admitting they had made a mistake. Absolutely not, said Counselor Zephyr. Her crystal body flashed with angry red lights. We do not negotiate with species that threaten Council authority. They haven't threatened anyone, Mordain pointed out. They just left. And look what happened after they left, Vextar said. Systems failing everywhere, trade routes disrupted. It's like they sabotaged everything on purpose. Or maybe, Mordain said quietly, we never realized how much work they were doing. Before anyone could respond, alarms started ringing throughout the council building. The speaker's platform lit up with emergency lights. Council members, the speaker announced, we have received an urgent message from Cygnus Prime. They are under attack by a massive pirate fleet. The Colonial Defense Force cannot hold them. Vextar felt cold fear in his stomach. Cygnus Prime was one of the most important council worlds. Over 50 million aliens lived there. If it fell to pirates, the political consequences would be terrible. How long until our fleet can respond? He asked. 4 days minimum, the speaker said. The nearest patrol fleet is on the other side of the sector. 4 days? Zephyr's crystal body turned dark purple. The planet will be completely looted by then. Mordain stood up slowly. There is one fleet that could reach Cygnus Prime in time. Everyone knew what he meant. The human fleet had been seen near the border of Council space. Long-range sensors showed at least 50 human warships moving in formation toward the outer colonies. No, Vextar said. We will not ask the humans for help. Then Cygnus Prime falls, Mordain said, and 50 million Council citizens pay the price for our pride. Admiral Dong-hyun stood on the bridge of the flagship Sol Ascendant and watched Cygnus Prime grow larger on the main screen. The planet was beautiful, with blue oceans and green continents. But right now, it was surrounded by ugly black ships that were bombing cities and stealing everything they could carry. How many pirate ships? He asked his tactical officer. 143 confirmed, Tactical Coordinator Jiwoo reported. They have the planet completely surrounded. The orbital defense platforms have been destroyed. What about civilian casualties? Unknown, sir. But the pirates have been attacking for 3 days. The damage must be severe. Admiral Dong-hyun nodded. He had been expecting this moment. The council was too proud to ask for help directly, but they could not ignore what was happening to their people. Open a channel to all ships, he ordered. This is Admiral Dong-hyun. We are about to engage a large pirate fleet. Our mission is to protect innocent civilians. Remember your training and remember why we built these ships. Around Cygnus Prime, the pirate fleet was celebrating. They had captured more treasure than they had ever seen. Food, medicine, technology, art, precious metals. The planet's defenses had been weak, and the council response had been slow. Captain Vorjak commanded the largest pirate ship, a massive cruiser called Death's Head. He was planning which cities to attack next when his sensor officer called out in alarm. Sir, we have incoming ships. 60 contacts. Council patrol ships? Vorjak asked. No, sir. The signatures are different. These ships they're human ships." Vorjak laughed. "Humans? What can humans do against us? We have over 100 warships." "Sir, you should look at this." Vorjak looked at his main screen and stopped laughing. The human fleet was not approaching like normal ships. They were moving in a perfect formation that seemed to flow like water. And they were moving fast. Much faster than any ship should. "Be able to move. All ships prepare for battle," Vorjak ordered. "Show these humans what happens when they interfere with our business." Commodore Hewan commanded the destroyer Busan's Fury, one of the newest ships in the human fleet. She watched the pirate formation through her tactical display. The enemy ships were spread out around the planet in a loose defensive pattern. "Admiral Dong Hyun to all ships," came the voice over the communication system. "Execute Plan Delta. Phase jump to attack positions." "You heard the Admiral?" Commodore Hywan told her crew. "Take us in." The human fleet disappeared. One moment they were at the edge of the star system. The next moment they were scattered throughout the pirate formation. Each human ship appeared next to a group of pirate ships, ready to attack. On the Death's Head, Vorjak stared at his screens in confusion. "Where did they go? Find them!" "Sir," his sensor officer said in a shaking voice, "they're everywhere. They're right next to us." Vorjak looked out his bridge window and saw a human destroyer floating just a few hundred meters away. The ship was sleek and dark, and it was pointing all its weapons at him. "Fire everything!" he screamed. The pirate fleet opened fire with every weapon they had. Green plasma beams and red laser bolts filled space around Cygnus Prime, but when the weapons hit the human ships, they passed right through them like the ships were made of ghosts. Then the human ships became solid again, and they fired back. Blue-white. Beams of energy shot out from the human weapons. The beams ignored the pirates' shields and burned through their armor like it was paper. Ship after ship exploded in balls of fire. Commodore Hywan watched her weapons destroy 3 pirate ships in as many seconds. "Target the next group," she ordered. "Leave no pirates alive." The battle lasted exactly 1 hour and 12 minutes. When it was over, 143 pirate ships had been destroyed. The human fleet had not lost a single ship. Not one human had been injured. Admiral Dong Hyun opened a communication channel to the planet below. "This is Admiral Dong Hyun of the Human Defense Force. Cygnus Prime is now secure. Medical and supply ships are on the way." On the planet's surface, millions of aliens looked up at the sky and saw human ships protecting them. Many of them cried with relief. Others cheered and celebrated. But in the council chambers, the mood was very different. The aliens who had dismissed humanity as a junior species now had to face an uncomfortable truth. The humans had just done something the council could not do. They had saved a council world when the council itself could not. "We need to talk to them," Mordain said. "About what?" Vextar asked, but his voice had lost its arrogance. "About the future," Mordain said, "because whether we like it or not, everything has changed. Director So-Min received the council's request for negotiations while she was having breakfast in her Seoul office. She read the message twice, then smiled. "Tell the council," she said to her assistant, "that humanity is willing to discuss mutual defense treaties between equals." The word equals would echo through the council chambers for days. But it was the truth. Humanity was no longer asking for permission. They were offering partnership. The galaxy would never be the same.